Hello, and welcome to the National African American Read-In. My name is Naja Springer Ali, and I'm a librarian at the Orchard Ridge campus at OCC. I'm also the chair for the Orchard Ridge Committee for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice. I'm so happy to be joined by two fantastic co-hosts today.
I'm Allison McFadden-Kiesling, an OCC Highland Lakes campus librarian and the OCC Highland Lakes campus Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Chair.
Hello, I'm Lanice Tyus, and I'm a student from Oakland Early College. So what is the African American Read-In?
Well, the African American Read-In was created by the Black Caucus of Teachers of English with the purpose to ensure literacy is an important part of Black history activities.
Today, you're going to hear wonderful poems and inspiring excerpts from books from African American authors. No need to take notes, as we'll include a slide at the end of the presentation with a list of all the books that were read today.
The theme of the first two poems we're about to hear is literacy.
Hello, my name is Naja Springer Ali, and I'm a librarian at the Orchard Ridge Campus Library. I'll be reading a selection from Acolytes by Nikki Giovanni. Yolande Cornelia Nikki Giovanni Jr., or Nikki Giovanni for short, was born in Knoxville, Tennessee, June 7, 1943. She is an American poet, activist, and educator. She is also the author of many poetry anthologies, recordings, and nonfiction essays. She wrote the book Acolytes in 2007. The word acolyte has several meanings, including one who attends or assists a leader. This word perfectly describes the contents within this book because it offers a glimpse into the people and experiences that have shaped Nikki Giovanni into the person and writer we know today. One of my favorites is My First Memory of Librarians. This is my first memory. A big room with heavy wooden tables that sat on a creaky wood floor. A line of green shades, banker's lights, down the center. Heavy oak chairs that were too low, or maybe I was simply too short for me to sit in and read. So, my first book was always big. In the foyer of 4 steps, a semicircular desk presided. To the left, the card catalog. On the right, newspapers draped over what looked like a quilt rack. Magazines face out from the wall. The welcoming smile of my librarian, the anticipation in my heart, all those books, another world, just waiting at my fingertips. Acolytes by Nikki Giovanni.
Hello, my name is Ellen Robinette. I am the program coordinator for OCC's Library Services and Technology degree program based on the Auburn Hills campus. And today I'd like to share with you a poem from the book On the Bus with Rosa Parks by Rita Dove. Now, Rita Dove is a poet, a writer of other types of literature as well as a teacher. She served as the Poet Laureate of the United States, and she also served as the Poet Laureate of the Commonwealth of Virginia. She has won many, many awards. Among them, she won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1987, the National Humanities Medal in 1996, and the National Medal of Arts in 2011. Rita Dove was born in Akron, Ohio in 1952. When she graduated from high school in 1970, she was a presidential scholar, meaning that she was among the top 100 high school graduates in the nation that year. She completed a bachelor's degree at Miami University of Ohio, and then went on to earn a Master's of Fine Arts at the University of Iowa. She's currently a Commonwealth Professor of English at the University of Virginia, and she's married to the German writer Fred Vebon. So the poem I've chosen to read to you today is a poem about reading. The poem is called The First Book. Open it. Go ahead, it won't bite. Well, maybe a little. More a nip like, a tingle. It's pleasurable, really. You see, it keeps on opening. You may fall in. Sure, it's hard to get started. Remember learning to use knife and fork? Dig in. You'll never reach bottom. It's not like it's the end of the world. Just the world as you think you know it. Thank you very much.
That was a great way to kick things off. Interestingly, Black History Month began as a week-long celebration in the US and evolved to a full month. Black History Month originated in Chicago by Carter G. Woodson in 1926.
Right, and here's an interesting fact. In 1912, Carter G. Woodson earned his PhD in history from Harvard University. He was the only person of enslaved parentage to earn a PhD in history from any institution in the United States.
Where did you get this information from?
Oh, the OCC Library's Black History Month Research Guide. It contains suggested books, articles, and credible websites in support of Black History Month.
That's good to know. I'm glad you showed us how to find credible information from the library research guide. What are we going to hear next?
Next, we're going to hear excerpts of readings that are empowering and hopeful.
Hi, I'm Natalie James, and the book I chose to read was Girls Hold Up This World by Jada Pinkett Smith. And I chose this book because my mom used to read me this book all the time when I was younger, and my aunt actually gave me this book. This book was written by Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith was born on September 19th, 1971 in Baltimore, Maryland, and she dedicated this book to her grandmother. And I think this book is a very, very powerful book and perfect for this timing because we just have a newly elected and newly installed female vice president and the first female vice president ever who is also of African American descent and of South Asian descent. So I think it's a good book for you guys to just read and be read to. And I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to get started, and I hope you enjoy. Girls Hold Up This World by Jada Pinkett Smith. For Marion Martin Banfield, January 9th, 1915 to eternity. We girls hold up this world with a strength that's all our own. We'll see the different ways one day when we are all grown. When we show our softer side, that doesn't mean we're weak. We're made up of many emotions that make us each unique. Be proud to be a girl. Know what it means to be you. Be who you want to be. Don't doubt the things you do. We girls hold up this world as we build our self-esteem. We know that discipline will turn a princess into a queen. Kindness takes hard work. This is a lifelong lesson. Give from your heart. Each day will be a blessing. We are sisters of this earth, members of one powerful tribe. Every color, age, and size, we are united by beauty inside. We're a new generation of girls. We will make this world better. We girls hold up this world, standing united, standing together. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said, this book is very, very special to me. My mom used to read it to me, and she probably read it way better than I could ever read it. And at the end, she used to always tickle me and tell me how much of a princess and queen I am, and just empower me. And I think a lot of us girls and a lot of us young women need to be reminded that we're strong and we're powerful, and you can be anything you want to be. And, don't let anything ever stop you, because you can set and reach your goals. For example, I want to be a doctor, and I'm going to be the first in my family. You can do anything you set your mind to. All it takes is a little spark and ambition. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol. I'm one of the OCC librarians, and I'm happy to be participating in the African American Read-In today. I have chosen a poem written by the amazing Maya Angelou. She was an American poet and civil rights activist who lived from 1928 until 2014, and I think she has an amazing gift with words. She read this poem in front of a session of the United Nations, and it is entitled A Brave and Startling Truth. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across the way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility and allow the pure air to cool our palms, when we come to it, when the curtain falls on the minstrel show of hate and faces sooted with scorn are scrubbed clean, when battlefields and coliseum no longer rake our unique and particular sons and daughters up with the bruised and bloody grass to lie in identical plots in foreign soil. When the rapacious storming of the churches, the screaming racket in the temples have ceased, when the pennants are waving gaily, when the banners of the world tremble stoutly in the good, clean breeze. When we come to it, when we let the rifles fall from our shoulders and children dress their dolls in flags of truce, when landmines of death have been removed and the aged can walk into evenings of peace, when religious ritual is not perfumed by the incense of burning flesh, and childhood dreams are not kicked awake by nightmares of abuse. When we come to it, then we will confess that not the pyramids with their stones set in mysterious perfection, nor the gardens of Babylon hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon kindled into delicious color by western sunsets, nor the Danube flowing its blue soul into Europe, not the sacred peak of Mount Fuji stretching to the rising sun, neither Father Amazon nor Mother Mississippi, who, without favor, nurture all creatures in the depths and on the shores. These are not the only wonders of the world. When we come to it, we, this people on this minuscule and kithless globe who reach daily for the bomb, the blade, and the dagger, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace. We, this people on this mote of matter in whose mouths abide cankerous words which challenge our very existence, yet out of those same mouths come songs of such exquisite sweetness that the heart falters in its labor and the body is quieted into awe. We, this people on this small and drifting planet whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living. Yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines. When we come to it, we, this people on this wayward floating body created on this earth, of this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is when and only when we come to it. That's it. Thanks for listening, and please take care, everybody.
Hi, I'm Darlene Johnson-Bignati. I'm a librarian at the Royal Oak campus. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 short works from the collection, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete, by rapper Tupac Shakur. Tupac was also a trained actor and was in the process of writing a screenplay when his life was tragically cut short in 1996 at the age of only 25. He also appreciated the fine arts and dedicated the first poem I'm going to read to Vincent van Gogh, and it is appropriately titled Starry Night. A creative heart obsessed with satisfying this dormant and uncaring society. And you have given them bountiful bouquets of sunflowers, but for you, there is only contempt. And though you pour yourself into that frame and present it so proudly, this world could not accept your masterpieces from the heart. So on that starry night, you gave to us and you took away from us the one thing we never acknowledged, your precious life. The next poem that I'm going to share with you is entitled And Tomorrow. Today is filled with anger, fueled with hidden hate, scared of being outcast, afraid of common fate. Today is built on tragedies which no one wants to face, nightmares to humanities and morally disgraced. Today is filled with rage and violence in the air, children bred with ruthlessness because no one at their home cares. Tonight I lay my head down, but the pressure never stops, gnawing at my sanity, content when I am dropped. But tomorrow I see change, a chance to build anew, built on spirit, intent of heart, and ideals based on truth. And tomorrow I wake with a second wind and strong because of pride, to know I fought with all my heart to keep my dream alive. One of the nice things about this collection is that it also includes writings in Tupac's original hand and some of the drawings that he included as well. Lastly, I'd like to share with you the title poem, which is The Rose That Grew from the Concrete. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's laws wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else cares. Thanks for listening, and please visit the library's website to find books by this author and many other African American authors.
These poems make you feel so empowered, especially during difficult times. It's good to be reminded that we are resilient.
Absolutely. These readings do inspire that. And I love how in Natalie's reading, she shared about the happy memories she had listening to her book as a child. I'm excited to hear more readings. What are we going to hear next?
We're going to hear multiculturalism and diversity in literature. Following, we're going to hear a children's book and then excerpts from 2 books by Jonna, Stacy, and Jeff.
Hi, my name is Jonna Balk, and I am the Auburn Hills campus librarian. And so today I want to read for you a book called Black as a Rainbow Color. And it is written by Angela Joy and illustrated by Aqua Holmes. And Angela, in the back of the book, describes a little bit as to why she wrote the book. She wrote it actually for her children. She was giving them their first Black history lesson and was talking about Black history, and her daughter interrupted her and said, "But Mom, we're not Black, we're brown." And so she worked with, her intent was to present all that is beautiful, loving, and strong about Black, to make the word safe and palatable for children of all ethnicities. So I'm going to read that to you now. Red is a rainbow color. Green sits next to blue. Yellow, orange, violet, indigo. They are rainbow colors too. My color is Black, and there is no Black in rainbows. Black is a crayon, tangled in a box. Black is a feather on white winter snow. Black is the dirt where sunflowers grow. My color is Black. Black are the braids of my best friend's hair. Black are the bottoms of summertime feet. Black are soft circles that spin down the street. My color is Black. Black is a rhythm. Black is the blues. Black is sidewalking in spit-shine shoes. Black is the robe on Thurgood's back. Black are the trains on railroad tracks. Black are the eyes on salted peas. Black are the shadows of old magnolia trees. Black is molasses from tall sugar cane. Black is soft singing. Hush now, don't explain. Black is the skillet for bread to fry. Black are dreams and raisins left out in the sun to die. Black is the color of ink staining page. Black is the mask that shelters his rage. Black are the birds in cages that sing. Black is a color. Black is a culture. Black is history. Black is family. Black is memory. Black is community. Black is the love that lives inside of me. My color is Black. Black are the stones bearing witness to prayer. Black is the faith in a freedom not seen. Black was the man who gave the world his dream. Black is a color. Black is a culture. Black is the heart of a candle and flame. Black is the power of movement and pain. Black are the branches that carry my name, weaving, wrapping, lifting, laughing, hoping, grasping, quiet, strong. Our color is Black. So you see, there's no Black in rainbows, no Black in green or blue, but in my box of crayons, Black is a rainbow too. Thanks for listening.
Hi, my name is Stacy Charla Von Ardan. Thank you for coming to the African American Read-In. Today I'm going to be reading to you from the book Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. And in the background, you will see a slideshow presentation of Black women in science fiction and fantasy and speculative fiction. Binti is one of my favorites, and there are plenty more on this list to enjoy. So have a good time with this, and I hope you find some good things to read. 15 minutes later, I purchased a ticket and boarded the shuttle. The sun was beginning to peek over the horizon. As I moved past the seated passengers, far too aware of the bushy ends of my plaited hair, softly slapping people in the face, I cast my eyes to the floor. Our hair is thick, and mine has always been very thick. My old aunties like to call it ododo because it grew wild and dense like ododo grass. Just before leaving, I'd rolled my plaited hair with fresh, sweet-smelling ojize I'd made specifically for this trip. Who knew what I looked like to these people who didn't know my people so well? A woman leaned away from me as I passed, her face pinched as if she smelled something foul. "Sorry," I whispered, watching my feet and trying to ignore the stares of almost everyone in the shuttle. Still, I couldn't help glancing around. Two girls who might have been a few years older than me covered their mouths with hands so pale that they looked untouched by the sun. Everyone looked as if the sun was his or her enemy. I was the only Himba on the shuttle. I quickly found and moved to a seat. The shuttle was one of the new sleek models that looked like the bullets my teachers used to calculate ballistic coefficients during my A-levels when I was growing up. These ones glided fast over land using a combination of air current, magnetic fields, and exponential energy. An easy craft to build if you had the equipment and the time. It was also a nice vehicle for hot desert terrain where the roads leading out of town were terribly maintained. My people didn't like to leave the homeland. I sat in the back so I could look out for the large window. I could see the lights from my father's astrolabe shop and the sandstorm analyzer my brother had built at the top of the route. That's what we called my parents' big house. 6 generations of my family had lived there. It was the oldest house in my village, maybe the oldest house in the city. It was made of stone and concrete, cool in the night, hot in the day. And it was patched with solar plates and covered with bioluminescent plants that liked to stop glowing just before the sunrise. My bedroom was at the top of the house. The shuttle began to move, and I stared at it until I couldn't see it anymore. "What am I doing?" I whispered. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a good time with this video. And this book will be in the Southfield Library for checkout if you would like to read this and the other 2 that follow from it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jeff Zagwija. I'm coordinator of library electronic resources for the OCC libraries. And my selection for the African American Read-In is Ishmael Reed's novel, Mumbo Jumbo. Ishmael Reed was born in 1938 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He grew up in Buffalo, New York. Moved to New York City in the 60s, where he began his teaching and writing career, and ended up where he still is today in Oakland, California, after teaching at the University of California, Berkeley for 35 years. He's a prolific writer, just about every format you could imagine: novels, essays, poetry, plays, nonfiction, even music and film. He's been referred to as the purest literary troublemaker we currently have. He's known for his biting and unsparing criticism of just about anything and everything. It's usually pretty funny, too. Mumbo Jumbo was his 3rd novel, published in 1972. It remains, I think, his most well-known and considered one of the greatest novels in America. I first read it as an undergraduate about 25 or 30 years ago, and it was one of the books that most challenged the way I looked at history and culture. Even today, the issues he confronts are so relevant. The book is set in 1920s New York during the Harlem Renaissance. The basis of the story revolves around Jess Grew, an epidemic sweeping the country which causes people to burst into uncontrolled and joyous dancing. The efforts to put down the disease are led by the establishment Wallflower Order, who are descendants of the Knights Templar, while Papa Labas, who runs the Mumbo Jumbo Cathedral in New York, is working to keep the virus spreading. The passage I want to read is from the beginning of the book. The mayor of New Orleans is consulting with his doctors about the Just Grew outbreak in the city. There's a commotion outside. The mayor rushes out to see Zuzu rejoicing, slapping the attendants who are attempting to placate her. The people on carts suddenly leap up and do their individual numbers. The mayor feels that uncomfortable sensation at the nape, and soon he is doing something resembling the symptoms of Just Grew. And the doctor who rushes to his aid starts slipping, dipping, gliding on out of doors and into the streets. Shades of windows fly up, lights flick on in buildings, and before you know it, the whole quarter is in convulsions from Just Grew's entrance into New Orleans. The charming city, the amalgam of Spanish, French, and African culture, is out of its head. By morning, there are 10,000 cases of Just Grew. The Just Grew epidemic was unlike physical plagues. Actually, Just Grew was an anti-plague. Some plagues caused the body to waste away. Just Grew enlivened the host. Other plagues were accompanied by bad air. Just Grew victims said that the air was as clear as they had ever seen it, and that there was the aroma of roses and perfumes which had never before enticed their nostrils. Some plagues arise from decomposing animals, but Just Grew is electric as life and is characterized by ebullience and ecstasy. Terrible plagues were due to the wrath of God, but Just Grew is the delight of the gods. So Just Grew is seeking its words, its texts. For what good is a liturgy without a text? In the 1890s, the text was not available, and Just Grew was out there all alone. Perhaps the 1920s will also be a false alarm, and Just Grew will evaporate as quickly as it appeared again, broken-hearted and double-crossed. Ishmael reads Mumbo Jumbo.
In Mumbo Jumbo, that is an interesting and unexpected use of the term pandemic. The pandemic in this book is one of euphoria and happy dancing that spreads.
I'd not heard of Ishmael Reed's Mumbo Jumbo before, so I was pleased to be exposed to his writing. Let's hear some more readings.
I'm Allison McFadden Kiesling, a librarian at the Highland Lakes Campus Library, and I'll be reading an excerpt from Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. I love this memoir because it's written in free verse. But before I read the passage, I'd like to share Jacqueline Woodson's thoughts when she was asked about her writings. Quote, I feel compelled to write against stereotypes, hoping people will see that some issues know no color, class, or sexuality. No, I don't feel as though I have a commitment to one community. I don't want to be shackled this way. I write from the very depths of who I am, and in this place, there are all of my identities. Close quote. Now, these are the first two pages of Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. February 12th, 1963. I am born on a Tuesday at University Hospital, Columbus, Ohio, USA, a country caught between black and white. I am born not long from the time or far from the place where my great-great-grandparents worked the deep, rich land, on free, dawn until dusk, unpaid, drank cool water from scooped-out gourds, looked up and followed the sky's mirrored constellation to freedom. I am born as the South explodes. Too many people, too many years, enslaved, then emancipated but not free. The people who look like me keep fighting and marching and getting killed, so that today, February 12, 1963, and every day from this moment on, brown children like me can grow up free, can grow up learning and voting and walking and riding wherever we want. I am born in Ohio, but the stories of South Carolina already run like rivers through my veins. Thank you. That was the first two pages of Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson.
Hi, my name is Margie Broughton, and I am going to read you a poem from Maya Angelou called Phenomenal Woman. It says, pretty women's wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute, or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my lips, the stripes of my steps, the curves of my hips. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellow stands or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flesh of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hands, the needs for my care, 'cause I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. I have just read you the poem by Maya Angelou. Thank you for listening.
I'm Dallas Martin, and I'll be reading Don't Touch My Hair by author and illustrator Sheree Miller, who lives in Jersey City with her husband. Sheree Miller tells a colorful and hilarious story about the importance of boundaries and asking permission first. I'm Maria, and this is my hair. I love my hair. It's soft and bouncy and grows up towards the sun like a flower. I love it up or down, styled or wild. I don't care. I just want it to be free. Actually, everyone loves my hair too. When I walk down the street, I hear so many compliments. It's great that people love my hair, but some love it so much they want to touch it. I don't like this. They're so curious about my hair that they try to touch it without even asking for permission first. I try blending in with the scenery, but I'm quickly spotted. Oops. I try hiding underwater, but that doesn't last long. Even in the tallest castle tower, someone is always there, ready and waiting to touch my hair. Finally, I find a place where no one wants to touch my hair, but after a few hours, I get lonely. I decide to go home. I try my best to ignore the attention, but as a hand sinks into my hair, I decide I can't take it anymore. That's it. That's enough. Don't touch my hair. This is my hair. It's great that you love it. I love it too. But please just look and don't touch without my permission. The next time someone wants to touch my hair, they ask. Now it feels great to walk down the street without anyone trying to touch my hair. My curls are free to reach for the sun just like a flower. Some people still ask to touch my hair, but if I say no, they listen. But if you ask nicely, sometimes I say yes. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful book.
Margie sure captured the sentiment of Maya Angelou's Phenomenal Woman. Her enthusiasm and joy while reading it was contagious. I found myself smiling along as she read. I hope you did too. Now we're going to hear poems about the importance of family.
I'm
Beth Garnsey, a librarian at the Highland Lakes campus, and I would like to highlight the work of Naomi Long Madgett. She was the Poet Laureate of Detroit from 2001 until her recent death this past November at the age of 97. She published her first poem at the age of 13, was 17 when her first book of poetry was published, and just 26 when her work appeared in an anthology co-edited by Langston Hughes. A groundbreaking educator, Madgett taught the first African-American literature classes in the 1960s at Detroit's Northwestern High School and then at Eastern Michigan University. She created her own curriculum to make up for the scarcity of works by African-American authors in textbooks at the time. Madgett founded the Lotus Press in 1972, and in her role as publisher, editor, and mentor, she championed the literary accomplishments of under-recognized writers. Naomi Long Madgett's father was a Baptist minister whom she idolized, but the poem I'm reading today is one she wrote in memory of her mother. It appears in a book that was published to honor her as the recipient of the 2012 Kresge Eminent Artist Award. And the name of the poem is Reluctant Light. Mother, I didn't mean to slight you, but it wasn't you that I adored. You hid your energy in shadows, and I was dazzled by the sun. I idolized the one whose voice soared to prophetic heights, whose words rejuvenated epics of the ages. Some fine June Sundays, slender and magnificent in morning coat, he would electrify the pulpit with eloquent pronouncements of doom and glory so divine the very gates of heaven seemed to part, bathing the atmosphere in crystal light. Seeking his favor, I rehearsed raising my hand like his in benediction, earning the childhood name of preacher, shortened in time to Preet. You gave us daily sustenance, but there was never a choir's fanfare or the soul beat of the mighty to grant applause. You baked the bread for which we seldom thanked you, canned pears for winter and mended depression-weary clothes, scrubbing sheets on a washboard, humming hymns to lift your sagging spirit, and cultivating beauty in endless flower pots. The summer when he toured the streets of ancient Palestine and Rome, you consoled yourself by painting pictures of the Appian Way, using the kitchen table for an easel. You coached me in my homework, rejoiced in my small triumphs, and prepared me to confront the enemy, tapping your umbrella against my 5th grade teacher's desk to punctuate your firm demand for justice. I didn't recognize your subtle power that led me through blind, airless caves, your quiet elegance that taught me dignity. Nor could I know the wind that bore him high into the sunlight emanated from your breath. I didn't want your journey, rebelled against your sober ways. But I have walked through my own shadows and, like you, transcended glitter. I have learned that I am source and substance of a different kind of light. Now when they say I look like you and tell me that I have deepened to your wisdom, softened to your easy grace, I claim my place with honor in that court of dusky queens whose strength and beauty invented sons that others only borrow. And Mother, I am glad to be your child.
Hello, my name is Ann Woloski. I'm a librarian at the Orchard Ridge Campus Library. And today I'm going to bring to you a poem written by Nikki Giovanni. I found this poem in a digital magazine that we have at Orchard Ridge called Bon Appetit. It's a food magazine. It appeared in December 2020, January 2021 issue, so it's a very recent poem. Nikki Giovanni is a poet and activist, a University Distinguished Professor at Virginia Tech. 31593 400 Mulvaney Street. It was a small house in a small neighborhood. Their bedroom was in the front overlooking the front porch, mine in the back sharing a window. Into our next door neighbor's home, Edith White always closed the curtains when darkness arrived. The living room held a piano, which I never learned to play, and a television set that I remember being awakened to see Lena Horne on Ed Sullivan. The couch was a rose color print, and I have it still, though now it holds mostly my books and a quilt given to me when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. Grandpapa purchased grandmother a stove that had a deep well, a forerunner to the slow cooker. The refrigerator never held chicken eggs. They lay in a triangular dish, which I still have, with blue, pink, and dark brown eggs. The dining room was a special and precious place. The dining room table was covered with white lace and always fresh flowers. In the corner was a cake platter with crystal top, and in the cabinet were the Sunday dishes that we used only when we had company. There was a drawer holding her sterling silver that she had purchased one setting at a time. I polished regularly just in case the book club or the civil rights women or even the church women would come by to have tea and discuss their next move against segregation. I was in college when I got a ride home to spend a surprise Thanksgiving with them. I arrived on Wednesday and was so glad to be home. It was obvious grandmother had not planned anything special, but now I was company. She scooted across the alley to get a chicken from Reverend Abraham's, and my job became stringing the beans. She was up early Thursday to wring the neck, and I had to pluck the feathers. We stuffed it with cornbread, put the green beans on with strickabeline. Grandpapa and I both loved bread pudding, and luckily she had some stale bread. No ice cream today, but a wonderful salad that I still don't know how she put together. The bathroom was between the two bedrooms, and as I heard the water running, I knew everyone had to bathe. Grandmother first with her beloved sweetheart soap. Then she helped Grandpapa. He put his favorite tie on, and I noticed he was moving a little bit slower, but I thought it was all right. I bathed in the tub with fresh water and tried to look dressed up. That evening, as we three sat at the table, Grandpapa said the blessing, and I lied about how well I was doing in college. My ride back to Nashville came that night, and I kissed them both, never knowing that that would be our last Thanksgiving. He went to heaven 3 months later. I have never bathed since. I received a call. Call your grandmother, and the only telephone number I remember, even now, is 3-1593. I knew when I dialed he was gone, and all that I knew of love would also be buried.
That was absolutely wonderful. We hope this event helped to inspire some of you to read some of these titles or explore other African American authors. Thank you.
That's right. And the OCC librarians can help you find these titles and other interesting literary works by African American authors for you to enjoy. This is the library homepage where you can find lots of helpful information. But today we want to draw your attention to the Ask a Librarian link. From this link, you can chat immediately with the librarian 24/7. You can also email an OCC librarian directly to start a dialogue, or you can schedule a Zoom reference session with an OCC librarian. Please ask a librarian. We're here to help.
Before we move forward, I have one quick housekeeping rule. If you are attending today's event for extra credit, you will receive an email following the event for you to forward to your instructor or instructors. We have one more poem to close this special event, so please sit tight. But first, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you to our readers, my co-hosts, Lanice, Allison, and Ken Falk. Thank you to Phi Theta Kappa, the Black Student Union, and Quincy Norwood for their support. After the poem, a book list of the material read today will be posted. All videos are available afterwards on the OCC YouTube channel, and a link will be emailed to participants. To close this year's African American Read-In, I thought I'd read another selection by Nikki Giovanni. This poem is called Sanity, to be continued for preparing leaders for world community. Know the truth when you hear it. Know beauty when you see it. Understand love when you feel it. And as you dance, always dance on that floor polished by the best of you. Thank you for attending.